I smell death by chocolate and other yummy things. Happy Halloween. It is Philly, and we have something very yummy coming in the house. Happy Halloween. And we get to hear me twice. Let me get on the lights. Hubs, will you help out, friend? Let's get on the lights, friends. We wanted to give a little spooky for the season. Oh my goodness. Trying a little drama here on this Halloween. Be patient as we light everything up. Hopefully I didn't scare anybody with my little costume. I know I'm scary even without a costume at times. Hubs might say so. But happy Halloween. Let me put my little candle here and let me turn my computer around so I can see who's all joining us. 1 second, friends.
I walked in like 30 seconds before it started. The lights are off and she's good.
They're not going to be able to hear you though, I don't think. I don't think they'll be able to hear you, babe. All right, let me get everything back up. That was the only bad thing about doing this was I would have to really adjust a lot of different things. So let me get myself all situated here, friends. Hopefully some of you that came early got to see the fun. So let's see where we're at. Let me see. All right, here we go. Well, hello. Happy Halloween, everybody. I thought it might be fun to create a little bit of a mood and a little bit of drama. And I think my camera is a little low, so let me just have this go up a little bit so we're not cutting all of our heads off. So I'm Philly. Welcome to the stream. And if you've never joined us before, I'm a place that does a lot of cooking, and I like to share the different things I love to eat and fix and cook. I like to try a lot of things here on the channel, but tonight I'm sharing with you a treat. I'm not sharing a trick. Well, actually, it's kind of a trick. It's some tricks to keep things skinnier because, you know, we're all gearing up here in the States for the holidays coming up. Once Halloween's over, oh my goodness, I've already seen some Christmas commercials even before Halloween. So we know that Thanksgiving and all of the other December holidays will be around the corner. So it's nice to be able to fix a weeknight meal, or really any time that you're a little mindful of some of the calories, because we know we're going to be splurging. And honestly, I splurge a lot in the wintertime anyway, because all the cold weather, I kind of want those creamy, cheesy, yummy things, right? So in any event, I'm really excited about the recipe that I'm going to share today. It is by Gina from Skinny Taste. We have been having it for years. I love her recipes. If you're ever looking for some great takes on some of your favorite things, she's a great resource. And I know I've shared some of her recipes before, and this is one of our favorites. And I'm telling you, when you eat this, you do not feel like you're being good. It tastes absolutely delicious. You don't feel like you're cutting any corners. And I think that's the best takeaway. That's the treat for tonight, is that you can eat healthy and still it can be absolutely delicious. So I hope you enjoy it tonight. Let's see who's joining us. We have Barb. Barb, did you catch the little spookiness at the beginning, or did you pop on after? And DS and Edith. Oh, oh, I'm glad, Edith, that you thought that was good. I have no idea what that looked like. I don't know if you heard the spooky music. I'm not really sure. And by the way, for anyone that does do YouTube videos, that one is one of the free from the audio library at YouTube. So I knew that I wouldn't get dinged on that. But I just thought it'd be fun, you know, to do a little spookiness before the stream since I was doing it on Halloween. So I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. And Archie, I know, the monster walking behind me. Who is he? Will y'all come protect me, please? And by the way, I forgot to mention this when we had our stream with the fall cocktails, but while my candle gave me some spooky lighting for the little beginning of the Halloween stream, I lit a candle last time too. It was a different candle. And just, you know, not for nothing, but there's a lot of scary things happening around our world. And I decided to light a candle of peace. So even though it was spooky in the Halloween bit, candles bring light, they bring peace, and they remind me of all the good things. So I'm praying for everyone, anyone and everyone that is struggling. Right now I know there's a lot of awful things happening, and I just wanted you all to know that Hubs and I do think about it, and it affects our hearts as well. So just burning a candle of peace, and I'm going to try to remember that on each of my streams, because it's just a reminder that there are other things going on. But I'm glad you decided to join us here. So this is a good getaway, a good distraction from all the craziness in our world. So I'm so loving having everybody here. So Barb, you'll have to rewind later and take a peek. I know I'll probably be joining you at that point, seeing how it turned out and looking at how scary I must have looked then. So I'm really anxious to see it. But, and the funny backstory is right before I was about to do that, Hubs was coming in. Like, I actually thought he probably would get in after I'd already done it. And I think he was probably like, what is going on? Because all the lights were out. And I'm like, quick, get in. I've got to start. So,
you had a scarf on your head, too.
I had a scarf on my head, yeah, because I wanted to look spooky. So in any event, let me wash my hands. We're going to get started right away because I want to get these meatballs mixed together. This does come together actually quite easy. I feel like it, and quickly, it's a great meal for a weeknight. You could use an air fryer. I'm actually going to use my oven today just because I want to make sure they all fit in. Oh, let me take off my rings also. And so we're going to quickly mix these meatballs together, and then we're going to get them in the oven, and then we will get together. We'll prepare. I'm going to have some broccolini with it, and I'm going to talk to you about my typical secret Collie mashed potato mash. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, and by the way, just to let you know that real is real here, I just noticed when I was getting out my ingredients for tonight that the one thing I picked up from the store, I order my groceries actually. I've been doing that. It really helps being a working mom, ordering and just going to pick up. And then during the pandemic, it was really necessary. And I have not let up from that. So every once in a while you get a surprise. And one of the ingredients for my Collie mashed potato mash is a little different than I was expecting, but we're gonna work with it, right? Because that's what happens. You have these little surprises and you don't let that get you down. So let's get these meatballs mixed up. It's gonna start with 1 pound of ground chicken. I have used all different kinds of ground chicken for this. This one is actually ground chicken breast. That's just what they had. Sometimes it is just regular lean ground chicken. Sometimes it has more dark meat in it. So the leaner, obviously the less calories, the less fat, but honestly, sometimes it's just what you're gonna get at the store. So today it's all chicken breast, but what's nice is there's so much else going on in here, and with the sauce that even though this is a drier cut, it's gonna be fine. But what I will do is I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil just to add a little bit fat moisture in there. So I don't want the meatballs to be too dry. So I'm just gonna give you a heads up on that. Also, let me grab that right here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump my chicken into this mixing bowl. There we go. All right. So how is everyone doing tonight? Do you have trick-or-treaters? I know by us, because of the building we live in, we don't get the trick-or-treaters, but I thought it was cool. One of my neighbors actually put out a basket and just said, take something. If you're here, take something. So I thought that was really cool.
I took a handful.
Can you put your microphone on, sweetie? That way, if you talk, they can hear. Did you take a handful?
I did.
You did? Look at you.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't. Hubs was just joking. So, but Hubs needs to put on his microphone because I noticed when we did that, that stream, with the food, that it was really soft, which I'm sure I'm sure Archie's probably going to prefer it that way. But yeah, so it was hard to hear him. And he actually put the microphone on, but he forgot to turn it on. So by the way, friends, those of you who are my regulars, if you ever notice that Hubs is hard to hear, and you can see right here on this little microphone, it has a green light. If his green light isn't on, that means it hasn't turned on. So I did not notice, I didn't realize it. So never hesitate to say, hey, sounds not right. Like, we will be glad to get things fixed. So I have a pound of chicken, ground chicken meat. And then to that, and by the way, the recipe is linked below. I kind of do a bit of an adaptation from it because I've been making it for a while. So I will share with you what I do. I'll share with you what she does, and I'll share what I do. So the first thing I do need to do is get some of these ingredients ready for my meatballs. And in here is going to go 4 ounces of cremini mushrooms and a 1/3 cup whole wheat seasoned breadcrumbs, a 1/4 cup pecorino, but you always could use Parmigiano Reggiano, 1 egg beaten, and 3 garlic cloves, and 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and 1 teaspoon salt, and some ground black pepper. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually, besides my chicken being here, I'm going to crack my egg, because once I get my garlic, I'm going to use a microplane to get it really ground, you know, like fine. You don't have to do that, but I just think it's nice because it really helps that garlic permeate through all the meatballs, which is lovely. So I'm going to get that. Let me just get a little fork here. So let's see, DS said, why didn't the mom let the little witch go trick-or-treating with her friends? She was expelled from school. Oh, that's a great one. I love it. I love it. And Edith was saying the lobby is locked where she is, so she can't. Oh, and Archie, please say hi to Amy for me, your little monster. Absolutely. I love your little monster. She's wonderful. And thanks for, by the way, giving me some input about that movie, because, you know, we knew about that movie from Matt, and so I was just interested to see what she thought of it, because, you know, sometimes when they do makes of things like that, they don't turn out that well. So that's why I was interested to see, because I don't think Matt has seen it yet.
What movie?
That Friday Night at Freddy's, you know, the one that was based on the game.
Yep.
So, all right, so I'm just going to take garlic clove on my microplane. I'm not even going to peel it. I'm just going to, it's going to push all the garlicness through. I'm going to be careful, though. I don't want to, you know, obviously cut myself, and this is very sharp. So it is just giving me a nice, fine, almost mash, kind of like when I use the puree. But I'm using real garlic this time. How about that? Garlic is, not garlic, Hubs is probably so thrilled. So
Yeah.
then here you have all your garlic loveliness, and I'm gonna take my fork and just get that down there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mix it with the egg down here in this bowl. I don't know if you can see that, but here I'm gonna mix it with, oops, there's my turkey. Because that way, that'll kind of get mixed in with the egg, and then when we mix all the ingredients together, it'll help disperse better. I feel like garlic sometimes, and I love garlic, but sometimes it just can stay in one place, and I want it to be around everything and make everything taste good. All right, so I just did a little bit of a light whip there. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to get, the shallots are for the sauce. I've got, and this is freshly ground pecorino, so let me just get that in, and let me also get my breadcrumbs in. So you can use your traditional breadcrumbs. She calls for seasoned. I'm just using whole wheat, panko. Really, it's whatever you have. Since these aren't seasoned, I might add a little bit more salt just to make sure everything's seasoned well. But there is salt in pecorino too, so that's something to keep in mind. So for our breadcrumbs, we are going to need 1/3 cup. So let me get that measure. This is such a delicious. What I love about the meatballs is they are quite, they're just really moist, and the mushrooms actually help keep them moist, which, you know, the great thing about when you're making a lighter, with a more lean meat, whoop, that doesn't fit, with a lean meat, a meatball is, if you have a vegetable in there, whether it's zucchini, in this case it's mushroom, it really helps add to the moisture content of the meatball, keeping it nice and moist, because no one likes a dry meatball. That is not tasty at all. So the other thing I need to get in there is my pecorino. So I'm just going to wipe this out. And this is a 1/3 cup, so I'm just going to use probably about the same. Even though I'm supposed to use a 1/4 cup, I love the pecorino in there, so I'm just going to eyeball it. Because honestly, when I make this myself, I do not measure. I just eyeball it. But for y'all, I'm going to measure. So we have our pecorino. We have our garlic, our egg. We just need our salt. This I am going to eyeball for a teaspoon of salt. There we go. And some ground black pepper. And some parsley. Oh, and my mushrooms. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the most important ingredient, my mushrooms. So I like to double the sauce in this recipe, and really isn't that how it is with most recipes? With most recipes, it's like, I wish I had more sauce. So, so I'm gonna be doubling the sauce. To that end, that's why I got so many mushrooms. So I got more than 8 ounces of mushrooms, so I'm not gonna put all of these in our meatball. So I just wanna give you a heads up. And I also got enough parsley so I can use some in the meatballs and also use some in the sauce at the end to add, to brighten it up, freshen it up. So eat it doesn't get trick-or-treaters. How about everybody else? DS, you're probably in a similar situation to Eat It and myself, but I'm wondering about Barbara and I'm wondering about Archie. And let's see if anyone else has joined. Oh, wait, uh-oh. Is DS in trouble?
What did DS do?
I don't know, because Archie's giving him a hard time. Uh-oh. So Archie said the joke was that bad, you need to go see the witch for your punishment. Oh, and by the way, DS, please tell Ruby I said hello. And Archie said she's obsessed with it, so you're meaning the Friday night, or Friday Night Freddy's, at Freddy's, I think is what it's called. And if he says another one, he's going to unfollow. There you go. Oh, that's a good one, DS. Why didn't anyone want to go trick-or-treating with Dracula? Because he's a pain in the neck. Oh, all night long, DS, right? You just keep bringing the jokes. All right, this parsley is just about ready. I'm going to take half of it, and I get my little garlic stuff over there. Take half of it, put it here in our chicken. I'm going to save this other half for the sauce, and I'm going to get some of these mushrooms chopped up. Now, for my sauce, which I will do the rest of the mushrooms later, I'm going to be slicing them. But for my sauce, I want them to be smaller so they can kind of get mixed into the mushrooms. So I need a little paring knife. I find that when I'm taking off the little bottoms here, I've already washed these, then it just helps taking that bottom off. Now the rest of the stem I don't mind chopping up, but I kind of want to make sure it's most tender for in here. Okay, and I think I'll do, actually that might be enough. I'm not sure. Let me do this up and see what that looks like. Oops. All right, so now I'm just going to basically slice them first one way, then slice them the other way. You could actually, honestly, if you have one of those egg slicers, you could probably, I've seen people use mushrooms in there and you can then flip it around. It's like a nice little hack, and then chop it the other way. But this really is just fine, and then I don't have to wash, or I should say Hubs doesn't have to wash something else, which Hubs always appreciates, right, Hubs? So I'm eyeballing this because I didn't really measure out what 4 ounces of mushrooms would be. So I think that this is about right. So I'm not going to do this one, and I'm going to get this minced finer, because I have found that the finer I can get, and mushrooms cut up so easily, the finer I can get this minced, it just kind of dissolves into that chicken and it flavors it. I mean, it really makes it great. And these are cremini mushrooms, by the way, but you could use button mushrooms. It's funny, when I was getting the recipe ready for the link to give to you all, I realized that she has always apparently put shiitake, I guess, in the gravy. Not just shiitake. She did the cremini and the shiitake. To be honest, friends, I never noticed that. So I don't know if that's something new that she added when she maybe updated the recipe, but I've never done that. I love shiitake, but also then that's a whole nother mushroom to get, and not really, you know, what we would usually think of going in a chicken marsala. But you could definitely do that and go for it. It's mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just doing the cremini. So I'm putting these to my bowl. And then what I like to do when I make meatballs is I like to first take a fork. Let me get this out of the way so this does not get chickeny. Right there. Is I like to first get a fork, and I like to break up that load of chicken that's down there. So I kind of want to do that, and then I can kind of mix it around. Hey, hon, do you remember did I add ground pepper or not? I can't remember if I added that or not. Friends, did I add ground pepper?
Sure.
You think I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I did or not. I'll
You can
just add a
never go
little more.
wrong with ground.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with ground black pepper, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Okay, that's good. And I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil, remember, because I'm working with it's just ground chicken breast. So I'm just gonna a little drizzle of olive oil just to help with the flavor and the moisture.
By the way, what are we having?
These are those. Oh, he's being a little monster tonight. And he didn't even offer to make me anything, friends. He comes in, he fixes himself a little Halloween drink. And did he ask his darling bride if she wanted anything to drink? No. I know she was a little spooky when he walked in, so I can totally understand that.
Scary. Yeah.
So then here's our mixture, and then I'm just gonna form some little meatballs. And I'm gonna put them directly, to save time, I'm putting them directly on our pan. So let me just get some of this mushroom stuff and garlic stuff out of the way.
Would you like me to make you something?
Can I just have that that apple, the apple cider, spiked apple, the apple cider vodka and lemon or lime? I'm fine with the lemon. There's a lemon already cut. If you want to save the lime,
No,
that's totally fine. So whichever. All right, so friends, then for my meatballs, I have a cookie sheet here. My oven is already preheating. I'm actually going to get it started because I want things to go fast. So I'm putting it on convection. And it's 400, so with convection, that would be 375. So I did want to switch it because I had heated it up just to 400 before I switched it to convection. So if you're doing convection, 375. And I'm going to put down some, where is it? Here we go. Parchment paper for easy cleanup. And what's nice is you can still get some good browning. And we are going to make up these meatballs. I'm going to do this fast as I can, friends. Now, as far as the size, I'm trying to think, I think she said 25 meatballs, so about like 2 dozen. So what I like to do, because that affects how fast they cook, obviously, so I do want to be mindful of that. I just kind of do a little, division here in my little bowl and think to myself, okay, so there we go. So what I want to have happen is 12 and 12, 6, 6. So yes, so I want to make 6 out of this. And this is sticky, so I forgot to get water. Would you do me a favor, sweetie?
I'm doing you a favor. I'm making
you
you a
are.
drink.
You're doing me a great favor. Could you do me one more really easy favor?
Sure.
So can you just put a little bit of water in this little cup that's here? Just add some water. Yeah, because I just need to, with chicken especially, or turkey, it's really sticky, like more so than ground beef.
Good.
And just put it right down there. And you just wet your hands and it helps you make the meatballs much easier. I forgot to do that. All right, so I'm just gonna divvy this up and divvy it up again into 3. And I need more water. Oh, I think that's good. Yeah. Oh, I really should have done this ahead of time. 1 second. There we go. Okay.
Where am I going to put this? Here?
Sure. That's good. Thank you, friend. All right. So let me get these done in no time. Nice little meatballs. Any more jokes, DS, or did I miss them? Hey, Kath. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on. Happy Halloween. DS is telling excellent jokes this evening, and Archie is his biggest fan. Did you know that? Okay, just getting these little ones. Making them lickety-split, right? Hubs is watching me. He's looking at me like Shelby would look at me, just hungry, like, is it ready yet?
Hungry like a wolf. Hungry
like a wolf. So I shared earlier today on Twitter a picture of Hubs and I back, I forget which year it was, if it was like 2015 or something, when we dressed up as Wayne and Garth. Remember that, babe?
Oh, God.
So yeah, that was a fun one. Although I will tell you, it was really interesting dressing up as a guy, and I didn't wear a stitch.
Oh, come on, you do that all the time.
I didn't wear a stitch of makeup, and that was out of my comfort zone. Like, not even any mascara. but yeah, so then the year after, or I don't know if it was the year after that or the next time the people we knew that had a party, I said to him, I'm like, I'm not going as a guy again. So I said, why don't you go as a girl? So next year I will share that picture of, remember when you were the maiden and I was the like musketeer, right?
Yeah, so you dressed up as a guy again.
Yeah, but I was a pretty guy. And you were a pretty girl.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
You're right. I did dress up as a guy because you were a girl, but
Yeah.
I decided to wear makeup because not pirates, musketeers wear makeup. I know. So
Yeah, that was a bad costume.
but we've had some great fun with costumes. So what are some of the fun costumes you all have dressed up in? And maybe you don't do that because not everyone is into doing the costumes. I know for me, I'm always not a fan of costumes, but the friends of ours that would have the Halloween party, it just was such a fun party and everyone kind of got in on the fun and it was a great time.
Except the neighbors, because remember they would call the police pretty much.
Yeah, the neighbors who were loud on their own right, they did not like all the merrymaking at our friend's house. So then they would call the cops on us and we felt like we were teenagers getting in trouble, that we were too loud.
The best, though, is that the mayor of the town was actually at the party.
Oh, I forgot about
do you
that.
remember that?
I didn't remember that.
When the cops came and the mayor kind of walked out and was like, hey, how you doing?
Who knew Philly was so exciting, right? But no, that was great fun we would have with those friends. So that was always a great party. And I think our boys just kind of shook their heads when they would see the get-ups that we were dressed up. Oh, I know, we were dressed up once as Greg and Marcia from Brady Bunch. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The cheerleaders.
The cheerleaders from SNL that Will Ferrell used to be, that cheerleader, and Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah.
We were those cheerleaders. That was fun.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so I dug up the Wayne's World one, but next year I'll dig up one of the other ones. We'll have to see which one.
I would prefer that you don't, but
that's okay. I don't listen to them anyway, right, friends? So let me see what's going on in the chat. It's too far away. I can't quite read it. I'm almost done. The problem, this is what always happens. I've got like a big honkin' meatball, which is going to be too big, so I'm just going to split up and make two little ones. And then I'll catch up on the chat. But I just want to get these in the oven and I can see what everyone is up to. And take a little sip of my now nicely diluted cocktail that Hubs made me. You get frustrated when I do that, don't you? But my hands were all chickeny. There really wasn't much else I could do. I'm going to put this and get some water in it.
How you make words by putting Y's on the end.
I love making words by putting Y's at the end. It's my favorite thing. It's my superpower. I like making words. I think everyone should make more words, right? That's the teacher in me. Words are power. Even fun words. Fun words are power because they make you smile, right?
That's correct.
I don't think he agrees.
That's correcty.
And I'm glad you put on your microphone, babe.
Yeah, I actually turned it on too.
He put on his microphone, everyone. You can hear him. Okay, so before I check the chat, here's all of the chicken Marsala, oopsie, getting the leaves in there, meatballs, and they are going to go in. I'm just going to give them a quick spray with some olive oil. Ooh, I'm low. So I'm going to give them a quick spray with some avocado oil because my olive oil is low. See, you do what you got to do, right, friends? If you don't have one thing, you can substitute another. And you're going to see a pattern there with this recipe, by the way. And I'm just being real because this is real life, and it was real life before I ever started streaming. So these are going in for 15 to 18 minutes, but since it's convection, they will definitely be ready by 15 minutes. So let me get them in and set my timer. I'll put them at the top. Okay, 15 minutes. And let's see what I've missed. Let's see here. So Kathy came, and then Dia said, Phil, you inspired me. I'm thinking I can do a tikka masala with chicken meatballs. Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. If you do that, that is very exciting. I think that's a great idea. In fact, just to let you all know, because I haven't dropped my schedule yet, and I didn't want you to think I'd forgotten about it. Let me just get this chickeny stuff off here so I don't forget while I'm chit-chatting. But I'm going to drop the schedule for next month, either tonight or tomorrow, but definitely by, it's fine, sweet, I'm just getting
sure?
over, yep. Tonight or tomorrow, and I will tell you, I'll give you some sneak information that because it's so fun doing these meatballs, and I do love meatballs, is actually, there's a certain kind of meatball that is going to be on next month's streaming schedule, and it's going to be chicken piccata meatballs. This was a recipe I've not tried yet. Someone else on Twitter tried, and it was shared. I forget who shared it. Obviously, I'll have all the information once I do it on stream. But I love chicken piccata, and the idea of putting it into a meatball with that yummy sauce, again, like that just is delicious. So that is going to be next month. So look for it when I put out the schedule. I'm not telling you anything else, though. No, that's your only treat from me besides this. So let's see. That's a great idea, DS, by the way. Oh, Hubs is like, have a sip. Take a breath.
For God's sakes.
There we go. So when I start streams, it's like I say go.
It's a ball of energy.
And I'm like this ball of energy. It's just adrenaline, you know. This is my adrenaline rush. I
am like completely
bungee
worn
cord.
out. I'm literally completely worn out by just watching.
I don't do bungee cords. I don't jump out of airplanes. What else? I don't drive fast cars. This is my adrenaline rush, is live streaming. Who would have thunk it, right? All right, let's see what else we have here. And then Archie says, where's this going? I think I might have missed exactly what you were saying. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh my goodness, Archie. No, it's just all in good fun. It's all in good fun, my friend, and I know you know that. Let's see here. A group of us dressed up as the characters in Clue. That's a great idea, Barbara. I love that. And usually at this party, there was some of my friends would often get together and they would do a group thing also, which was really fun to see like the different things they come up with. And Edith said she was a Viking once, Minnie Mouse. Oh, I love that. I really enjoyed it. I will tell you, I was never a cheerleader. And so I got a kick out of dressing up as the cheerleader. I put my hair in like 2 ponytails. One of these years, I'll share that picture. That was very fun. And yes, DS says, your face in the Wayne's World thing. We both brought it. You know, our boys were taking a picture of us. That was when we lived in the suburbs. That was our house from the suburbs. Gosh, that was like, it was over 5 years ago. It might have been 8 years ago.
It was like 8 to 10.
Yeah. So, and they were taking it from, one of the stairs. I just want to make sure this isn't getting too hot. Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. Just make sure I don't start a fire. So, yes. So we tried to totally get into character. And I did that at the party. I did not break character a lot because it was just too fun.
I did not do that at the party because it was way too embarrassing.
It was very fun. Did Hubs end up in therapy? I don't know, Hubs. What about that?
Did I end up in therapy?
Yes, for doing all the dressing up. And DS says hi, by the way. And DS also said that his first ever costume was Woody Woodpecker. Don't judge me. Oh my gosh. Wait. So I think a lot of the friends who are watching this, do you all remember, and I'm sure you remember this, the costumes that we wore as kids? They always had masks. You couldn't really breathe. You couldn't really see, but like that was so integral to your costume. So you would just be behind this big piece of plastic with one rubber band, and that was just what it was. Like, do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember
I'm trying to
what you
remember
were
my
when
like
you were
really
younger?
young costumes. I just don't remember. I think it was Batman one year. But then I remember being like, I think my parents got just tired of doing the whole costume thing, and so they would make me I was like a hobo for 5 straight years.
Yes. Well, my mom worked, she was an x-ray technician, and so she had gotten some scrubs, so I think one year I was like that because, but that was like older, maybe kind of the tween years, and I don't really remember all that I was, to be honest, as a young girl. I remember what our boys were. Our boys were adorable. Like they both were I think because they were using the same costume a couple years later. They were the absolute most adorable lions. Do you remember the lion costumes?
I do.
They were probably each about 2 years old when they wore the lion costumes. And if I could just freeze that, oh, just adorable. I'll have to share those sometime
You know
too.
what the one problem is?
Broccolini, by the way, I'm just going to wash this and get this ready to be steamed. What's the problem?
They grew up.
I know. They grew up. No, I'm glad they grew up. I enjoy. It's fun. You know, I think parents get a lot of wistful when their kids grow up, and I get it. Like, because of those moments of when they were little and needing you for everything. But it's also exhausting when kids are little and they need you for everything. And I really am enjoying having the relationship with them as adults. I think it's a privilege.
One of my favorite pictures is when in the old house.
Yeah.
And I remember all the kids were kind of hanging out in our driveway.
Oh, when they were little.
And they were little, yeah.
Yes.
And it was the
and
best
they were all the characters from
like
Winnie the Pooh.
Disney, Winnie the Pooh.
No, it was the Winnie Pooh. What do you call Hidden?
You're right.
Oh wait, I'm forgetting. Not Hidden Acre Wood. 100 Acre Wood.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
it
God,
just
it was
happened that all in the houses right next to us, all of our kids were around the same age, and they were all dressed up as characters, different characters from 100 Acre Wood, and it was so sweet. One of the sweetest pictures.
We sat him on the driveway and took pictures of him.
And Matt was Pooh, and he actually was in. Remember, you had him in your backpack, like one of those, not backpack, but like one of those that you put kids in.
Yep.
And he was little Pooh and just a doll. And then the girl who was his age down the street, she was the honey pot.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it was just adorable. Like, you know. But they are a lot of work when they're that age. So it's, I think as kids get older, like there's different benefits, right? It's also cool, like having some of the discussions we have with them now. And I don't know, like I really enjoy seeing the adults that they've become. Matt, if you're watching, don't get all like, oh, mom's just talking. But yes, it is something about being a parent. All right, so this is broccolini. I thought broccolini would be nice to have with this. I love broccolini, so I just washed it, and I'm going to steam it. This is a microwave steamer, but you can obviously steam it over on your stove. But it helps just have something else that I don't need to use the stove for. So I'm just tucking this in so I can fit it all in. I don't want to get something else dirty. So when it's ready for this to cook, it'll be ready. So this is set, so it's a little too soon for that to cook. The next thing we're going to do is get our ingredients ready for the gravy. And meanwhile, we will be making that special cauli mash. So let me first get some of this stuff in here. Oh no, friends, you know what I just did? I just scooped up with the cut off parts of the broccoli, and I scooped up all my parsley. So I'm going to need to cut some parsley, but let me get my mushrooms cut first, or maybe I better just do that before I forget. Okay, let me tidy this up. See what happens when you're streaming? You forget stuff like that. So let me go get some of this water off of here. There we go. Let me go get some more parsley, friends, because we will need that for the gravy. It's a shame, too, because I had already washed the parsley and dried the parsley. I got to do it again, but that's fine. It's easy. Just grab some here. All right, let me wash it. There we go, and I'm going to dry it. Okay, so in our gravy, we're going to slice up the remainder of our mushrooms. Let me first get this parsley chopped up, because I feel like I need more knife action getting that done. So, as we were talking, and DS was thinking about the great idea, which I think is awesome, of the chicken, what were we saying? Tikka masala, chicken meatballs, which I think is a great idea. And of course, these are chicken marsala, and then we were talking about chicken piccata. Are there any other unusual meatballs that you all enjoy fixing and enjoying? And maybe you've had them at a restaurant, maybe you've cooked them yourself. Okay, our parsley's all set. So I'd love to know that. All right, I'm not going to scoop those up again. So I'm going to continue, by the way, with taking off the end of this mushroom. and put these here, and then I'm gonna slice these guys up. So let me know about that. Eugenia, yay! I'm so glad you joined this stream. Welcome to the stream. I'm not sure when you came on. I must have missed it. Wonderful. Okay, I see. That's when you came on. Happy Halloween. And Eugenia said, oh, and Kath said she was a hobo for a few years. Yes, hobos. Those were such a popular thing. I forgot all about that, Kathy. You're right. Hobos were the way to go. And I remember in college, people wore static cling. Do you remember that? They would like wear sweats, and they would just have like a sock. They would kind of tape socks and, you know, random clothing items to them for static cling. That was another popular one back in college.
I wish I could tell you what my one Halloween costume was in college. That
you should be reading Archie. Archie was complimenting you on your mask tonight. Oh, Archie. And Eugenia said, I have lots of kids, so built lots of costumes, plus their theater costumes. Wow, that is commitment for years. I built the brass bra for my own grown daughter to be Madonna. Oh my goodness. You win the prize, Eugenia, for sure. What were you going to say, Hubs, though? I'm sorry, I was kind of talking over you.
No, nothing important.
But, so tell me about some of your costumes. Or was it college costumes?
Mostly hobos.
Yeah, hobos. That was the way to go.
And then college was just, I really can't say that on a live stream. So
okay,
no.
So we won't. Kind of like when my dad wanted to sing his fraternity songs on live stream, and we were like, yep, we were not going to do that.
Yep, shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't do that. But by the way, do you remember we used, now I think my family always, we had these big plastic pumpkins that we would, as you can imagine, as sweet little girls, that we would hold to put our treats in, and they would get quite heavy. But did you bring the sheets? Because most of my friends just brought, not the sheets, the pillowcases.
Pillowcases, yeah.
Most of my friends used pillowcases.
Yeah, because it was volume.
It was volume, right?
Yeah. Then you would come back and like, you would kind of come back and you dump it and then go out again.
Wow, that's a lot of
We did that
candy.
all the time.
That is a lot of candy. So I sliced my mushrooms up here. Let me move this out of the way. We're done with that. I cut some and flipped some. All right. So for our...
Where do the mushrooms go?
They go in the sauce.
Oh, that's right.
So over here is where we're going to get the sauce started. Before I get the sauce started, I want to start getting some things. So this is a big multitasking meal. So I will say, I'm sure everyone that I'm chatting with are pros at this. But if you're watching this, and this was not my skill when I was starting out cooking, the multitasking and lots of things going on, that kind of freaked me out. But that is the way of cooking, especially with certain meals. So with this one, there is some multitasking. So I want stuff to be working for me while I'm doing other things.
You should prepare by...
Okay, I should prepare by taking a large sip of the spiked apple cocktail.
That is now
Which,
completely
by the way, I'll
watered down.
put, for anyone watching this later, I'll put the link to that down below. Oh, that is really good. Okay, so in any event...
Thank you.
Yes, he mixes a fine cocktail. Yep. So I am going to get my none ya business, as Sonny Anderson would say, cauli mashed potatoes. So with this meal, again, this meal, I don't think I've ever cooked it on a weekend. It's usually been on weeknights. So on weeknights, I work and I have limited time and energy, so I try to make things quick. So I'm not making homemade mashed potatoes because you're like, Philly, why aren't you boiling your potatoes? No. So you buy a brand that you like. Unfortunately, I didn't have the brand that I wanted, so I got the Giant brand. In fact, not only is it Giant brand, it is a giant tub of mashed potatoes. So I'm already using pre-made mashed potatoes. Don't at me. Don't give me a hard time because this is just life, right? I'm making these homemade meatballs and I'm using some pre-made mashed potatoes because we're going to be zhuzhing it up. And I know he loves that term. Don't you love when I say that?
I hate that word.
So this is huge.
It's not
and
a word.
we don't need all this. So I'm going to actually take half of this and get it warmed up. And actually the other half I'm going to use for a meal this week. And I'll tell you about that. Archie, you'll find it interesting. So I'm going to scoop half of this out. 1 second. Let me get a, oh my. This scoop will do. And I'm going to, was I going to put it? Oh well, okay. I thought I got out another bowl, but I didn't. So I'm going to put it in this bowl. I don't know why I got this plate out. This was silly. I think I was going to put the mushrooms on there, Did not. So let me get that plate put away because I'm a little too much going on. So typically the mashed potato containers that are only about like half this high, that's usually the size I get. So I'm only going to use half of this. So I'm going to take half of this out. And of course it is not ready yet. It's quite firm and I need to get this heated up. So I'm going to take half that out. I'm going to save this for another meal this week. Archie, any guesses? And, oh, better check my meatballs. Would you do me a favor and just put this in the fridge on the bottom shelf?
Sure.
I'm going to just put this on to help keep that lid down.
This?
Yep, like it's in the bottom drawer. There should be a space. You might have to lift up something because I had it down in that drawer before.
Okay.
Like under this.
I got it.
Stove. Okay.
Got it.
All right, let me check my meatballs. See how they are. Ooh. They look nice. Here they are. They're a little brown. I wish they were a little more brown, but they look nice. They smell good.
Oh, yeah, you should make them a little bit more brown.
So I'm actually, since we have time, I don't want to overcook them, so I'm actually just going to turn that off and let them finish off in there while we're getting everything else ready. So, because they'll go right into the sauce and finish cooking in the sauce. Actually, they will be already cooked, but they'll like give the sauce flavor. The sauce will flavor them. So I put the mashed potatoes in there. Then what I'm going to, oh my goodness, that timer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this heated up. 1 second. Oh, I have a little lid here I can use. I'm going to get this heated up in the microwave. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were there.
It's okay.
I'm going to save the spoon. I'll just leave that spoon there. I don't know, for about 4 or 5 minutes. And then I'm also going to get in the cauliflower. Now this is where the funny part is. I'm going to start it with 4. So when I ordered my mashed cauliflower, I usually order Bird's Eye because Bird's Eye, the brand here, has a garlic. Oh, I can put my rings on. I'm sorry, I digress. I'm missing my rings. They have a garlic cauli mash, which is wonderful because then you have that garlic flavor already in there, and it just marries nicely with the regular mashed potatoes, and then that marries nicely with the chicken marsala sauce. However, they gave me a surprise. They did not give me garlic mashed potatoes. Look what they gave me.
What they give you?
So they gave me sour cream and chive. So it could be worse. So basically there's going to be a little tang. The chives don't bother me. It's just I don't need the tang. I actually wanted some garlic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, once those get softened up, I'm going to add some of my garlic that I have here. My garlic puree, I'll add a little bit to that there. So I'm going to cook these. So these are going to be a little off for us tonight. They're not going to be as tasty as they usually would be because they're not the garlic cauli mash. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? So what I like to do is this size container, I mix with the typical size of mashed potatoes that I was saying I was supposed to get. I got the double. So I only cooked half of it, just catching you all up. So I mix both of those, and then I usually don't have to add garlic, but we're going to add garlic. I add a little bit of olive oil, and then I add some of the pecorino romano cheese, and that's our base. So what's nice is the mashed cauliflower lightens up the potatoes, not only calorie-wise, but it ups your veggies, and it also actually makes the mash lighter. Like it's not this dense. I love mashed potatoes. But it just makes the whole thing have a slightly different texture that is lovely. It's actually, you know, it's just, I don't know, it really works with the chicken marsala meatballs. It's nice not having a really dense mashed potato with that. So I really like it. It's going to be a little different today with the sour cream and chive. But you know what? That's just what happens. So we are going to make lemonade out of lemons. So once that's out, this is going to go in. So that's going to be happening in the background. And then, of course, I'm not going to forget to do my broccolini. And that's all going to be happening in the background, too, while our sauce is making. So these are all on my to-do list. So, Hubs, don't let me forget about my to-do list, okay?
Okay.
But let's get to our sauce. So for our sauce, it's going to be involving butter, a half tablespoon butter, half tablespoon flour, a 1/4 cup shallots, minced, a 1/3 cup Marsala wine. We'll talk about that. And 3/4 cup reduced sodium chicken broth. So what I like to use for my chicken broth is I actually use, and my sister's the one that got me to it. I've talked about it on the stream before. So I don't have tons of cans in my cupboards. I always use Better Than Bouillon. I'm not paid to say this. They started out with really just chicken, beef, and then they had like the reduced sodium chicken, and then now they have like all different kinds of concentrates. And what's nice is the flavor is really, really nice. Like it's better than your average even chicken broth that you're buying in a can. So that's one of the things I really like. So I'm gonna get some of this in there. So it's basically a teaspoon per cup. So I have 1.5 cups. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. This is what I do. I just eyeball it. So this should be about enough. Okay. So we're gonna let that hang out there. And that can come together in the sauce. I could get this all diluted in here, but I really don't have to worry about that because it's just going to do it in the sauce. So, you know, before I remember I would sit there and get this all up to temperature and add it, dilute it. No, you don't have to worry about that. That all comes together in the pan. Let me put this away. And our mashed potatoes are ready, so I'm gonna put in our cauliflower. Ooh, that's a hot pan. That's a little hot. Let me get my fingers, and I'm gonna take my meatballs out because I don't want to overcook them. There we go. Got my cauliflower in there. Getting that in. Get our meatballs out. Woo! Got a little facial. These look delicious. I'm gonna put these right by here so they can go into our pan. And I'm gonna get my temperature on because we need to get started on this. So let me get my temperature going back here. Okay, so I'm keeping it on low first because I need to I need to cut my, shallots. So the one thing we still need to cut that I wasn't thinking about was my shallots. And they said 1/4 cup. I don't know that I need a 1/2 cup to double it. So I'm just gonna chop what I think is right. Because, you know, when it comes to it, we all chop and we all add the ingredients that really are gonna work for us. So I have a shallot here. Let me just get it peeled. All right, and let me see what's going on in the chat. So Phil asked if it was kale. Oh, are you talking, were you meaning the broccolini, Archie? Is that what you were asking about? I'm not sure if you're asking about the broccolini. So that's broccolini, but yeah, I know you get a little worried about your kale. I totally understand. So I'm just gonna do some
Archie
slices.
doesn't like kale?
He's not a big kale guy.
I'm with you. I like kale like if it's when you like put it in the oven. What
The kale chips?
Yeah, kale chips. Thank you.
Yeah, it was funny. Our youngest, Matt, the one that you guys have seen on stream, he probably eats the least veggies of any of us. Like we eat tons of veggies. David eats a lot of veggies. And Matt, he still is a bit veggie averse, but he liked kale chips. Of all things, it was always interesting to me. They like kale chips. So here I have a little over 1/4 cup. I probably have a little over 1/3 cup, and that's just going to be fine for it. So I'm going to the first thing I want to do is I want to get some of my butter melted here. So a tablespoon. Get that melted. We're going to get our mushrooms and our shallots in there. So let me get that up a little bit higher, and I'll bring you all over so you can see what's happening in the pan. This is one of those times I really wish I had it through Stream Elements that you could all see the second picture, but I'll get you all over there. So let me see what I'm missing. And Archie, Eugenia says Better Than Bouillon is the best. I use it all the time, mostly the reduced sodium ones, and myself as well, Eugenia. I always look for those. And DS likes that too for stock. And Archie says, I like kale like I like Hubs. And Edith doesn't like kale either. Oh my goodness. Poor kale. And Eugenia says, I like kale in soup. And Archie said, let's make it illegal. And kale's almost as bad as DS's jokes. It's funny, you know what? I think for me, I just like almost everything, if I'm being honest. Like I'm really, there's very few foods I don't like. Like I have a lot of kale in the chopped salads I have for lunch every day. I do like when I go to a place and they actually massage the kale with oil so it breaks down a little bit, and that in a salad to me is delicious. And I like Eugenia, I don't mind it in soups or anything like that. It's sturdier green, so there's benefits because I feel like when I add spinach to certain things, it wilts so much. So kale keeps a little more body, which is nice. Okay, my butter is melting, so I'm going to come over and get my first my shallot there. Let that sweat a little bit. So let that sweat a little bit. Get my, boy, I've got beeping going on all over the place, don't I, sweetie?
You do.
Lots of beeping going on. All right, so now let's check out what we're doing with our mash. Okay, so let me put this aside so let me take another sip before Hubs yells at me. This is going to go over by the sauce. I need my cheese, my grated cheese. And while I'm getting this ready, by the way, I am going to put these in for, I think, 3 minutes, and we'll see how it looks after that. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take, this was our mash in a very hot bowl. So this was the mashed potatoes that we had before. Let me get a spatula. So this is my none your business. So half regular mashed potatoes. I'm just going to mix these up. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. This doesn't come out fast, so it's not very much. It's probably not even a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, and we're going to be heating these up a little bit more because I do want to have some of that garlic flavor since my cauli mash does not this time. It has sour cream and chive, which is very disappointing. All right, and now I'm going to add some of the cheese. I don't know, a couple tablespoons.
It smells good in here.
A couple tablespoons. Does smell good. And then I'm going to add the cauli mash on top. And now we're going to cook this together also to let everything kind of come together. I can't believe I'm putting sour cream and chive in here. Again, do not do that. Get the garlic or get the plain.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that was a, I don't have a lot, I must say, I don't have a lot of faux pas from them with ordering, but that was one that definitely I did not catch because, it's already put in the bag, so then you don't see it till you get home, and then when I get home, I'm just quickly putting everything away, so I didn't even notice it till I was getting it out today. So definitely a little disappointed in that. So I'm just going to get this mixed up, and then we're going to put this back in the microwave for another 2 minutes, just so it can kind of cook together. But I don't know if you can tell, but the consistency is just so much lighter. Like you can just tell. See how it's coming down? It's just a much lighter consistency, which I think actually works quite well. All right, so my shallots have gotten a light brown to them, and so they've gotten a little more than sweaty. So I'm going to add my creminis to that. Let me just do a little tossing, and I'll show you all the creminis in a minute. You don't have to have your shallots get brown. That was a bit of an error because I was streaming and otherwise. So one of the things I like to do with mushrooms is get a little toss. And they, of course, are immediately absorbing all the butter. Don't be alarmed. This is a lighter recipe. What will happen is they will release the butter, the water, everything. I don't season it yet. I always wait to not season my mushrooms until after they start releasing some of the liquid in them. I feel like I heard a long time ago that can hinder that, so I don't want to hinder it. All right, so these will go back in, and then these will be ready. And I'm not going to taste them yet because I want to wait till they go in and be able to
There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
Yeah,
your wife is just
beeping,
and she doesn't multitask well. Look at your wife. She's a multitasking, isn't she?
My head hurts just watching this.
And your tummy hurts too, probably, right? Maybe I should have started this at 5. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm cooking this for 2 minutes, 2 more minutes, and then we'll check it. Let me just take a peek at my broccolini because I don't want it to get too done. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so that's perfect. I'm going to let some of the steam out because I don't want it to get overcooked, and I'm putting that back on so it can sit tight. Will you get a baggie for this, please? You see, I set the table already behind you.
I
right?
did. Thank you.
Of course, so we can put the garlic away. I don't need that. Let me check my mushrooms and do more tossing. So, you know, for anyone, I know everyone watching me does tossing, but for anyone that doesn't do tossing, start small, start with a smaller pan with little things, and then just kind of work up. I feel like, especially with mushrooms, tossing is one of the best things to do. It really helps kind of rotate it, get the, you know, the mushrooms that need to get some color and heat. It gets them in the right direction.
I like to think I'm a pretty coordinated person, but if I did that, I would throw them all over the floor.
All right. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to be, in fact, I forget, I got to look and see. I'm trying to remember because there's a couple different ways you can make this thicken up. And one way is you can add, see, I didn't need to heat it up. Look at it, just adding to it. It's almost all, and the rest of it will dissolve once it goes in the pan. So what I don't recall is if she does it in the pan and then adds the liquid, or some people add the flour to a little bit of the a little bit of the liquid, they shake it up, and then they add it. I'm gonna add the flour directly to the pan, but I don't remember if that's her directions. So for those of you making this using her directions, this might be different, because I don't really remember, to be honest. So let me show you what those mushrooms look like. They look and smell so good. Let me show you. And you can turn that off if you want. So look at those mushrooms. They're getting brown. I'm shaking. There we go. Now I'm not shaking. And here's our chicken marsala meatballs. They're ready to go in. Okay, let me put y'all back. Whoopsie. So now we're ready to add some flour, but pretty soon after that we're going to be adding the marsala. So I want to talk about the marsala. And let me turn down our heat just a little bit. Okay. So I don't have marsala. I've never bought marsala. I should. I have never bought it. So I've made this recipe for years not using marsala. And I'll tell you, the first time I made this, I did exactly what I did every time I make it, and that is, what do I do to substitute marsala? And what you always find when you look it up, the first thing they say is Madeira. Well, I don't have Madeira either. That's another fortified wine. Marsala is a fortified wine, and you can buy it if you'd like. So then you'll look up and see what are all the substitutions you can do. So the one that I do is one that I found through looking and looking years ago, and that is using some vermouth and some sherry, which I do always have. I always have some sherry and some vermouth, so I just do equal parts. The other thing you can do if you want to keep it alcohol-free is you could use balsamic vinegar. I've read that that is kind of a good option. And then if you don't think it has enough sweetness because it is a vinegar, you could add a little bit of, sugar agave or something, just, if it seems like it needs to round out just a tad of sweetness. So you could add that after tasting it. But we're going to add half vermouth and half sherry. I want to get that ready because once I add the flour and start toasting the flour, I'm going to want that ready so I can add it. So it's going to be, for the usual recipe, it's a 1/3 cup total. Since I'm doubling it, it's going to be a 1/3 cup of each. So, and I hope I have a 1/3 cup of each. I'm just realizing. Well, let's just see. Let's see what we got. We got what we got, right? Oh, yeah, I do. So, honey, we need more vermouth. Do you want to put that on the list?
Dry vermouth?
Yes. And let's see here. There we go. And here's the sherry. Oops. And we need sherry. Well, how about that? I used it all up. Okay. So, friends, I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to add my flour. So when you add flour, you're going to just be toasting it. And I need to add 1 tablespoon of flour. So let me get 1 tablespoon. I brought my measure. I'm using Wondra. I like Wondra for flour because it doesn't cake. It just I think makes it smoother. gravy or sauce. So I like using Wondra. My mama used
I
Wondra.
just texted you that we needed that.
Thank you. Oh, I actually just put it, honey, on our grocery list because then it reminds me that, and we can look there if we're going to the liquor store. We can just look on that one. Okay, so I'm going to turn up the heat because I do want to toast this. I also want to add my salt and pepper, which I hadn't added yet because remember I wanted to wait till everything sweated out a bit. So I'm just doing some salt, some pepper. I'm going to let this toast up. We just want to get that raw flour taste cooked out. Whoops, I had a little mushroom hop. And it's amazing to me, honestly, like how much the mushrooms reduce. Like I had a good amount of mushrooms. It always amazes me. Mushrooms and spinach, they just reduce so much. Okay. I'm also going to get my rainbow whisk because that will help have my sauce come together. So Archie, don't hate me with that. I'm going to let this toast a second more. I'm also going to take off some of this flour that collected on my thing here. And I'm going to actually do this part here so y'all can see. I'm going to bring it over here. Plus it's safer adding alcohol away from a flame since I have a real flame. When you add alcohol, if you've got a flame, you just want to make sure keep it away. That's the sound you want. You want that sizzle sound. And of course, all the alcohol cooks off, which is great. I'm going to bring this back over. And I want this to get very bubbly. So I'm going to turn that up and let that simmer down. I'm going to check my ingredients. I just have my reduced sodium chicken broth. That's also going to be reducing down. And then we'll be adding our meatballs. So we're almost there, friends. Let's check on that cauli mash and see how it's doing. And while we're doing that, I do want to tell Archie the thing I was going to use, that I was going to use the rest of the mashed potatoes for. So you had made your absolutely delicious, actually put the title of it down in the chat, Arch, the shepherd's pie, but you did it with the sausages and the onions. Can you put what that was? Because that looked absolutely delicious. And I'm going to use the leftover mashed potatoes to kind of make a sort of shepherd's pie. But for any of you that watch me all the time, remember when I made those arancini and I had that leftover, it was like a basil and tomato sauce that had the ground veal and beef and pork in it and the peas. Remember when I made that sauce? I'm going to make a mini shepherd's pie. Ooh, look at this. I love the way this looks, by the way. You guys got to see the mushrooms. To me, these are the little joys I get with cooking. I love how mushrooms look when they're boiling like that, simmering like that in the wine, and it's getting thick. Look how thick that got. So now I need to add my chicken broth. I'm actually going to let you all see that if I can manage this. I think I can. There we go. I'm going to add my chicken broth and bring that back up to a boil. You see I have all that sediment. I need to get that out, so I'll do that. Let me put you all back. So yeah, I'm going to make like a mini shepherd's pie, but I was thinking of you, Arch, of doing that because I'm like, you know what? I've got these mashed potatoes. I can put that on top. I'll add some cheese to them. There we go. I want to make sure I get that flavor. In fact, let me get a little bit of broth in here so I can get that flavor that's on the bottom of this. There we go. Excellent. We're done. So yeah, so that is what I'm going to be making either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not sure which night. So now what I'm going to do is I'm bringing this to a rapid boil so it has a chance to reduce down and get that flavor from the chicken broth, the Madeira wine, the shallots, the mushrooms. So it helping make this marsala that's not really a marsala, but we're not going to tell, right? Because you know what? A lot of us don't just have marsala in our cupboard. So if you have marsala, definitely use it. If you have Madeira, that's a great substitute. But if you're like me and you don't have it, this still tastes absolutely delicious. All right, so let's see what I've missed. Oh wait, what's Archie talking about? Uh-oh. The whisk of angels. Oh, was Archie having a conniption? I bet you he was. So Archie says he's sending you kale, ghost chili, and garlic casserole for Christmas. That sounds delightful, Archie. I love that. And then Archie says, Phil, can you pronounce shallots the British way, please? So Archie, what do you emphasize for shallots? I only know how to say, is it shallots? I don't know. That's a good question. If you can kind of put like the pronunciation in there, I'd love to know. I'm not sure how you say shallots. And yes, oh, this steamer, eat it. I've had for a long time. This was actually from one of the first Tupperware parties I went to. And you know, Tupperware, oh, look how it's still so warm. Tupperware stays good forever, right? I think it even has a lifetime warranty. So I love the steamer. I use it for all sorts of things, and it just is great for the microwave. Oh, we were gonna taste our mashed potatoes. I was digressing into Archie's drama here. But Archie, let me know about the whole shallot thing. I'm gonna get a little fork. Let's see. So, they're fine. They could be better. The sour cream and chives are a little bit evident. With the Marsala sauce, it'll not be, but oh my goodness, I can't believe they switched that on me. I mean, they don't taste bad. They just don't taste like they usually do, which is a bit of a bummer. But like I said, once we put the meatballs in the Marsala, it won't be any big deal. It just cracks me up that even happened. All right, I'm gonna keep that warm. Let me check on my sauce. Ooh, it's looking good. It's looking good. So now is the time that I'm actually gonna put my meatballs in because I really want them to kind of give some of their flavor to the sauce and vice versa. So I'm just gonna bring up my parchment paper, and I'm just going to throw them in. There we go. Parchment paper is great. It really helps with the tidying up process. Let me just wash my hands since I touched some of the trash. And I'm going to toss those in the sauce, and I'll bring you over to see. We have our parsley there that we'll add at the end. There we go. So it's funny, one of the things I like about this recipe, and I don't remember how long she suggests, how long Gina suggests tossing them in the sauce, but I like to at least have them in there for at least 5 minutes. And the reason being, when I make spaghetti and meatballs, I actually have my meatballs, after they get brown, they cook in the sauce for like hours. So I don't let this happen for hours. But I do think what's nice is it really helps absorb the flavors of the sauce. It makes the meatballs even better. So yeah, so let me bring you over and show you what everything looks like there. Oopsie. Show you. So there they are. See. So we just want this sauce to reduce so it thickens. It has reduced already, but we want it to thicken more. So that's why I'm letting it go. Because I do want it to thicken more than that. So I have it on high, wanting it to reduce. We'll put this back. It smells so good. Hubs is starting to eat the couch. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be making. I'm going to make a little kind of Italian shepherd's pie with the leftover mashed potatoes. And the good news is that the regular mashed potatoes don't have sour cream and chives, so it won't mess me up, which is really good. All right, so let me tidy up. I'm going to put this over by the meatballs so that I can put that on at the end. Here we go. Just check those. Yep, they still need to go. And this is one of the forks we'll use. That'll be, you know what, I'm not going to need that. We'll use this for the mashed potatoes. Let me just stir it with it to get some of these ones off. And we're going to start getting stuff plated up soon. Hubs is like, hooray! I can eat, right, babe? Oh, I think he fell asleep.
No, I'm awake.
What'd you say?
I'm awake.
You're awake. Yeah, we don't usually eat at 7 o'clock unless we're feeling really fancy in the city and going out with the younger kids. But yeah, this is a good stretch. This is a good stretch for us.
I apologize. I just passed out because of hunger.
let's see here. Oh, Archie, I'm glad you made good with Eugenia, even though she loves the whisk. Yeah, I didn't need the whisk though, Arch. It just kind of came together okay. I didn't need it. That's what's nice when you, ooh, it's getting ready. It's nice when you toast it enough. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit because it's getting almost ready. I'm going to show you and again, I know y'all on the chat, you all know like what we're looking for, but I do want to show people that are newer to cooking what you're looking for. So I'm going to get a spoon. So let me just bring this over. So what you're looking for is, I do this, I don't know if you can tell. See how it's coating the spoon? Like if you draw your finger across that, it made like a little pathway. It's made it a sauce. Now you can thicken it a little more, but I personally don't like it to get too thick because I don't want it to, first of all, I want it to be able to spread out into all the loveliness, but I like it to just be able to coat the back of a spoon. That's what I was looking for. Oh, and that's delicious. Really good. I think a little more black pepper. That's one thing I think that would be good to have on there. Let me make sure we turned off the oven. We did. And I'm going to add my parsley. But this looks great. There. I like me some pepper. The parsley will be nice because it really will help wake it up a little bit with some fresh flavors. So I'm excited about that. What I do with my, here we go. There we go. We've got our mushrooms, we've got our parsley, we've got our chicken meatballs. There we go. All right, let's see what we all got here. Gonna keep this here. Let me move this away. Let's see here, friends. So here we have our main attraction right there. And then we've got our none your business cauli mash. That didn't quite do what I wanted it to since they gave me sour cream and chive, but you know what? With the yummy gravy, it'll be just fine. And then we've got our steamed broccolini. And that you can put butter on, you can drizzle olive oil, or you can just put some of the Marsala sauce. Let me show you what we got here, friends, so you can see it all. Whoopsie. Oh, sorry, sometimes. So there we go. We have our chicken Marsala meatballs, our steamed broccolini, our cauli mash, so it's a mixture of mashed potatoes and mashed cauliflower with some pecorino, a little bit of olive oil, and that is what we're going to plate up. There we go. Let me just turn this down just a little bit so everyone can see. There we go. All right, so Hubs, I'm going to put, it's time, my friend.
What's that?
What's that? Your wife is streaming and she just made dinner.
Oh, okay.
He always sounds surprised. Whenever I give him anything, he just sounds surprised. And I'm like, how are you surprised? I'm going to actually get a proper spoon because I want to get some of that sauce. So I'm going to put two meatballs, some of the gravy. There we go. Okay, so here we go, friends. It is, so you could put it on pasta, you could put it on, rice, you could put it, whatever you'd like. I really like it on the mashed potatoes. I just think it works. Let me move our broccolini. We don't need to taste that steamed broccolini. We know what that tastes like. But it's nice to have something green with it.
Is that the...
First, nope. You're there. This is not difficult. Okay, first I'm going to have a little mash.
That's the mash. That's sour cream and onion.
What's that? Yeah,
That's
it just has a little more flavor, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
good,
necessarily the flavor you're shooting for.
No,
That
it's
makes
good.
sense?
Doesn't taste too bad.
Oh, those are good. Very yummy. I like all the mushrooms. I like getting the mushrooms with the mashed potatoes. It's just delicious.
Those
It's
are really good.
yummy. And the best part is you don't feel like you're being good, right? But think about it. We did not use, we drizzled just a little bit of olive oil in the chicken mixture because I was using chicken breast, which does make a denser meatball as it's very, very lean. So we want to add that. We want to add, besides the mushroom and everything, we used a tablespoon of butter for all of this. You know, so and that's only because I doubled the sauce. If you don't double the sauce, you're only using half a tablespoon of butter. And then I just put a little drizzle of olive oil with some pecorino in this. So it's very much not a high fat, it's a lower fat meal. It's delicious, it's flavorful, uses lean protein, and you veg up your mashed potatoes, which lightens it and also gives you more veggies. And of course, we have a green veggie to help fill us up. So, and we'll have leftovers, which is great. Which is also, I'm thinking, I don't know when we'll eat the other meal because we actually kind of have a bunch of meals. We'll have to figure that out.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. So friends, thank you for your patience. I know this was a little bit longer one, but I will say, because I've definitely made this on weeknights, is when you're making it by yourself and not streaming, you really kind of, the first thing you do is get those meatballs in, and then you're just kind of prepping the other stuff while you're waiting for them to cook. They're finishing off in the sauce, and you're good to go. So
it's really good.
Yeah, so they're really good. And the gravy, or the sauce, I guess not gravy, the sauce is so yummy. So so if you try it, let me know. And DS, definitely try that chicken tikka masala meatballs. That sounds amazing.
That's pretty much water.
And happy Halloween!
Sorry. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. He's just waiting to trick me, I can just tell. So thank you so much. The schedule for November will be dropping either tonight or tomorrow. And Eugenia, Kathy, Edith, Archie, DS, Ruby, Amy, and I don't know if there was anyone else that, Marcy, oh my goodness, Marcy, I just caught you at the end, and Richard. Wow, Richard, we're about ready to go, but Richard, thank you for popping on. It was so good seeing your comment today. I've missed conversing with you through our social media, so really good to see you pop on. And Marcy, you know I miss you, so lovely having you on, but thank you all for coming on. Happy Halloween, and may you get more treats than tricks tonight. And until we eat again, farewell, friends. We'll see you next time. And again, the new schedule's dropping, so you'll see when I'll meet you again.